watching it now. Let me know when it.
It's recording.
It is recording. Yeah, just let me know when it's up or when we start to get other people on there. Thanks, Cindy. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Is it 7 yet? Still not 7?
4 minutes.
And you got your timer on?
Timer? No.
Get ready for the intro. What?
Say good luck.
Is she watching?
I don't think so.
What?
The time doesn't come up at the same time.
Is it 7?
1 minute.
1 minute. I don't think we have any other viewers yet. I wonder if I should take the... There was this geolocation on there, you see that? And I typed in like Michigan and Wisconsin and...
The little wand?
Yeah, I put like Hurley, well not Michigan, Wisconsin, but no, not the one, but you just press back.
I don't know what to do.
Okay, don't worry about it.
It's 7.
Okay. Hello everybody and thanks for joining us for Tuesday Night Live. We get together here bi-weekly from 7 to whenever we're done. Tonight's segment will be around 45 minutes. My name is Chandra Portel and I'm with Gogebic 3C, and the cameraman tonight is Christopher Marino, and he is my partner for Gogebic 3C, and we're really excited to be doing this for the community and just get more knowledge out there so people can make informed decisions and know more about the medical cannabis community and laws. Tonight we're going to go over the House Bill 4209, which covers licenses. Well, it covers more than licenses, but what we'll cover tonight is just the grow segment of House Bill 4209. So we also will be going into a little bit of an open discussion about alternative medications, if anybody wants to join in on that. And then I also have a small segment on a town in Colorado named Trinidad, Colorado, and we're gonna go. That was redundant. We're gonna go over, what happened to them when medical marijuana hit and recreational hit, and give you some stats and a rundown on that. So 45 minutes tonight, and we won't go over. Hopefully, I know last time we did it, it was a little bit long. I made it that way, or we made it that way, so that we could cover the whole entire Michigan Medical Marijuana Act. And honestly, I wish I would have broken it up a little bit more, and we will be covering maybe segments of that in the future. But we always post our videos online after we do them live, so you can always come back to the Gogebic County page, and we'll have that posted for you. We also have a Gogebic County Cultivation Creations YouTube channel, and we will be posting the videos to that as well. Next week, I think we might even go into how to process some material, and maybe get safe practices out to the community. So we're really excited about the way that this is going. People are starting to get more involved. I've been showing up to city council meetings in Ironwood and Bessemer, and planning commission meetings in Ironwood and Bessemer, and I also plan to go to Wakefield and other surrounding Gogebic towns and communities to raise more awareness about the benefits, or social impact, I should say, economic and social impact of medical cannabis, commercialization and retail. So I know that a lot of our leaders and our mayors and our councilmen and women are trying to make the decisions that are going to be best for their communities, and I'm hoping to get more people active so that we can get them more information, get them more resources. I'm hoping that more people will engage in Gogebic County Cultivation Creations, so that they can hear testimony from their people, their citizens. It's not going to go very far for one person to just stand up and start talking about this. Us as a community need to get together and go forward. So with that, I am going to start on House Bill 4209, and I'm going to be talking about grow licenses. So that segment will be about 30 minutes, and then we'll be going into Trinidad, Colorado, alternative medicine, and then open discussion. House Bill 4209, categories and definitions. Let's just go over that real quick. Beginning 360 days after the effective date of the Medical Marijuana Facilities Licensing Act, a person may apply to the proposed Medical Marijuana Licensing Board for state operating licenses in the following categories: Class A, B, or C, grower. A grower means a license that is a commercial entity located in this state that cultivates, dries, trims, or cures and packages marijuana for sale to a processor or a provisioning center. So there are other things that are covered in House Bill 4209, other licenses per se, which is the processor, provisioning center, secure transporter, and then safety compliance facility. But right now, just because it's a hill and there's so much cover, we're just going to be doing the growing tonight again. So let's see, grower license A. So a grower license will authorize the grower to grow not more than the following number of marijuana plants under the indicated class for each license the grower holds in that class. So there's A, 500 plants, B, 1,000 plants, and C, 1,500 plants. Those are the three different growing licenses that you will be able to apply for, or your entity will be able to apply for. So a grower license will authorize the sale of marijuana seeds or marijuana plants only to a grower by means of secure transporter, and authorize the grower to transfer marijuana only by means of a secure transporter. So what that's saying is that the secure transporter, or the person that's going to be warehousing all of this cannabis marijuana, is going to be kind of the control hub. I know we went over it last Tuesday, well not last Tuesday, but the last Tuesday night live that we did. We went over this a little bit, and it explained, I don't know, can you see that very well? We went over this a little bit, and it kind of explains, it kind of explains how growing and the processing and the testing is going to be working. So you have the secure transporter here, and what's going to happen is they're going to hold all of the material, and they're also going to transport all that material to the safety compliance facility over here. The safety compliance facility will test it, give it back to the secure transport facility, and then they will take it to the provisioning center or to the processing facility. So during that time, there will be a chain of custody. So you'll grow and harvest from your 500, 1,500, or 5,000 plants, and they'll take it in batches, or you'll package it in a batch. They'll take it to the safety compliance facility where they batch test it. Chain of custody will be regulated so that these batches will be safety checked. They're going to be checked for pesticides. They're going to be checked for molds. They're going to be checked for potency, THC potency, CBD potency, and they're going to be using chromatography in order to do that. So that's where the testing facility and secure transporters will come in for the growers. And so that I don't get too off course with that, we'll continue on with the growing segment. The license will authorize, I already went over that. To be eligible for a grow license, the applicant and each investor in the grow may not have an interest in a secure transporter or a safety compliance facility. So let me just read that again. To be eligible for a grower license, the applicant and each investor in the grower may not have an interest in secure transporter or safety compliance facilities. Until December 31st, 2021, a grower must have a minimum of 2 years experience as a registered primary caregiver, or have an individual with that experience as an active employee. So this is kind of cool. So let's say you moved here a year ago and you've been a caregiver for a year, and you want to maybe apply for like a 500 or a class A, B, or C grow license, and but you realize that you haven't been a caregiver for 2 or more years. What you can do is your entity can employ a person that meets those requirements. And that's only until December 31st, 2021. While holding a license as a grower, the grower may not be registered as a primary caregiver. So when you apply for these licenses, you're going to have to give up your caregiver rights. And I think they do that to protect and separate caregiver-patient relationship, commercial grower, industrial relationship, because you're going to be transferring over to an industry. So let's see. While holding a license, as a grower, the grower may not be registered as a primary caregiver or employ any individual who is simultaneously a registered primary caregiver. Again, this is kind of where it gets a little sticky. Your employees can't be registered primary caregivers. If you have an industrial grow operation, they're probably, I'm not positive, and we'll get into this a little bit later, background checks, fingerprints, and they're not going to be able to be a caregiver who works in a grow facility and also, has 72 plants at home that they're working on. They're definitely wanting to separate it here, is what it looks like. A grower must enter all transactions, current inventory, and other information into the statewide monitoring system as required in the Licensing Act rules and Marijuana Tracking Act. So we will get into the Marijuana Tracking Act, the Licensing Act, which actually this is the Licensing Act, but we will get into the Tracking Act later and dissect that a little bit more. But pretty much there will be a database where everything will be interconnected, and within that database we as people that have these licenses will have to report and data entry into that database. A grower license will not authorize the grower to operate in any area unless the area is zoned for industrial or agricultural uses or is unzoned and otherwise meets local requirements. So what they're pretty much saying there is that the local government has the jurisdiction to step in and say, hey, we don't want cannabis downtown. We don't want cannabis in residential areas, commercial cannabis in residential areas. So what we're going to do is we are going to move it out, and they have the right to do that. A lot of communities around here are looking into pushing, if they do opt in, pushing industrial grows out to the industrial parts of the community, or commercial. So it's not that they're saying no, in each community. I think a lot of communities are really looking into where they want to have this. So standing up at local government and talking about your endeavors and your grow operation or your future, plans for a grow operation is going to be really important, I believe, to just give these guys some knowledge on, what it's going to be like. I think a lot of people are afraid of smell. What if it's on a trail system that the local kids use for, cross-country skiing, what if it's downtown and you're hit with a wave of aroma and every time you're going shopping? And a lot of people are sensitive to just having it be so public, I think. House Bill 4209 I forgot to read the preamble for it, and I think that will kind of give a general description. This act shall be known and may be cited as the Medical Marijuana Facilities Licensing Act. There's going to be an advisory panel. There's going to be a board and a department, which the department is LARA, L-A-R-A. So let's get in here a little bit more. Let's see. I think I mixed up my notes a little bit. Hang in there with me, guys, just for a second.
There's a question.
There's a question? What's the question? All right, so commercial zoning wouldn't be allowed, or that is up to each municipality? That is up to each municipality. Zoning, I know that for Bessemer, zoning is in the works right now. There is a planning commission meeting tomorrow, and I know that they are going to be discussing a little bit, but as a precursor to that, I have been informed that Bessemer is trying to push out grow operations, or anybody that wants to apply for any commercial licenses. They want that away from their downtown. I believe that Ironwood may vote the same way, but I'm not positive. So yeah, it's up to the municipality for sure. Let's see. All right, so here's the meat and potatoes of licensing, okay, for the grow operation. The part that I read you to begin with is from a bill analysis. And if you go onto the LARA website, L-A-R-A, once again, you can access that bill analysis. And they have a licensing part, and then they have a caregiver patient link as well. Is there another question?
Time of the meeting.
Oh, time of the meeting. So funny story. Bessemer's website for their commission meeting is not caught up. They're a little bit behind, and so tonight, by the end of tonight, I will have that planning commission time posted on this video. I apologize, I don't have it right now. We were scrambling to get it before we came in here tonight. So, did that answer? Okay. So meat and potatoes of licensing. Like I said, 360 days. So it's anytime after December 15th. After December 15th, you can start applying for these licenses. The identity, oh no, let's back up. They want more than that. They want everything. They want to know everything about you. So hang in there, because this is a little intense. Okay. Beginning 360 days after the effective date of this act, a person may apply to the board for state operating licenses. The application shall be made under oath on a form provided by the board, and shall contain information as prescribed by the board. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, A, the name, business address, business telephone number, social security number, and if applicable, federal tax identification number of the applicant is going to be required. The identity of every person having any ownership, interest in the applicant with respect to which the license is sought. If the disclosed entity is a trust, the application shall disclose the names and addresses of the beneficiaries. If a corporation, the names and addresses of all shareholders, officers, and directors. If a partnership or a limited liability partnership, the names and addresses of all partners. If a limited partnership or a limited liability partnership, I think that's redundant, the names of all partners, both general and limited. Or if a limited liability company, the names and addresses of all members and managers. So what they're saying is it doesn't matter what entity you are applying, if you're an individual person or if you're a corporation, a partnership, an S Corp, C Corp, it doesn't matter. They want to know all of your affiliates, everybody that's going to be involved. An identification of any business that is directly or indirectly involved in the growing, processing, testing, transportation, or sale of marijuana, including, if applicable, the state of incorporation or registration in which an applicant is a corporation, partnership, or other business entity. The applicant shall identify any other corporation, partnership, or any business entity directly, indirectly involved in the growing, processing, testing, or transporting. So pretty much, they literally want to know what businesses you have, if you have any more businesses. You know, they want to know if you have any kind of affiliation with any other businesses that are going to be, you know, so let's say that just for instance, let's just say that Gogebic 3C, us, our partnership, applies for a growing license. And I have prior businesses that maybe, you know, are still running, and my partner has other businesses. They are going to want to know all of my other business history. They're going to want to know all of his other business history, what our investments are currently, what they're going to be in the future. They're going to ask all those questions. And I think, guys, what they're really trying to keep, you know, in line here is big marijuana. I don't believe that Michigan wants to see big marijuana come in, and I'm not positive how they're going to stop that. But it seems like in the wording, and I'm not a lawyer. You know, I don't give any law advice. This is just my personal interpretation. But what it seems like here is that they're just trying to keep the big marijuana out. So an applicant may comply with this subdivision by filing a copy of the applicant's registration with the Securities of Exchange Commission if the registration contains information required by this. There's a lot of lingo there that would probably have to be looked into. Whether an applicant has been indicted for, charged with, arrested for, or convicted of, pled guilty, or nolo contender, I believe that's no contest, to forfeited bail concerning any criminal offense under the laws of any jurisdiction, either felony or controlled substance related misdemeanor, not including traffic violations, regardless of whether the offense has been reversed on appeal or otherwise, including the date, the name, and location of the court, arresting agency, and prosecuting agency, the case caption, the docket number, the offense, the disposition, and the location and length of the incarceration. So they're not really saying that you can't apply if you have any of those. What they're saying is that they want to know everything about it. So if you are gung-ho about getting this license and you have kind of a crappy past, I don't think that it's saying that you can't apply. I think that what it's saying is that you are going to have to gather all the information from that case and present it. So even if you got a misdemeanor paraphernalia charge for a pipe back in the day, you know, you might want to bring that up and get it so at least you have it in your pocket, so when you go to apply for this, you know, it'll be readily available. And it sounds like they're talking about a controlled, concerning any criminal offense under the laws of any jurisdiction, either felony or controlled substance related misdemeanor. So if it's a misdemeanor, it has to be controlled substance. 10 minutes left. So if it's a misdemeanor for skinny dipping, they probably don't want to hear about it. If it's a misdemeanor for a pipe, they probably want to hear about it. If it's a traffic ticket, they probably don't want to hear about it. If it's a traffic ticket that turned into a search and seizure of a misdemeanor crime involving a controlled substance, they probably want to hear about it. Okay, moving on. All that information, by the way, if you need to bring up your case information and you need to know what a case caption, docket number, disposition, all that means, we'd be more than happy to help you navigate that. Again, not a lawyer, but we can help you navigate and find legal resources. This is section E we're on. Under Part 4 licensing of Enrolled House Bill number 4209, the Medical Marijuana Facilities Licensing Act, Part 4, Section E. Whether an applicant has ever applied for or has been granted any commercial license or certificate issued by a licensing authority in Michigan or any other jurisdiction that has been denied, restricted, suspended, revoked, or not renewed, in a statement describing the facts and circumstances concerning the application, denial, restriction, suspension, revocation, or non-renewal, including the licensing authority, the date each action was taken, and the reason for each action. So that pretty much says that the information they want is if you have ever had a commercial license for pretty much anything. It says has been granted any commercial license or certificate issued by a licensing authority in Michigan or any other jurisdiction that has been denied. So any commercial license or certificate issued by Michigan or a licensing authority. So my commercial license for my Class A driving license, I would, if I were applying for this license, I would have to give them any information on revocation, suspension, anything like that, and they would take that into consideration as they want to look at character. They want to look at given licenses, are they going to be responsible with them? Are they going to keep them insured or renewed or whatever it may be? They want to look at the character. All right, whether an applicant has filed or been served with a complaint or other notice filed with any public body regarding the delinquency in the payment of or a dispute over the filings concerning the payment of any tax required under federal, state, or local law, including the amount, type of tax, taxing agency, and time periods involved. They want to know that you're paying your taxes. If you haven't, if you've been reprimanded for your taxes, they want to know about it. You're going to have to report that, which is fun. I'm not even going to go there. Never mind. Political. I'm going to stay out of politics right now. Let's see. A statement listing the names and titles of all public officials or officers or any unit of government and the spouses, parents, children of those public officials or officers who directly or indirectly own any financial interest in, have any beneficial interest in, are the creditors of or hold any debt instrument issued by, or hold or have any interest in any contractual or service relationship with an applicant as used in this subdivision. Public official or officer does not include a person who would have to be listed solely because of his or her state or federal military service. So military service doesn't count in this, but they want to know if there are any government, public officers, public officials in your entity. So they want to know, let's say one of the council members of the Planning Commission in Bessemer is in cahoots with somebody that's growing there. And that person goes and applies for a license when they may have a vendor contract relationship on the side. They have to report that. So anybody that may be in cahoots with any kind of local official, local government, they're going to want to know if there's any financial interest, if there's any benefits, period. And it sounds like they want to know the name of the spouses, parents, and children of those public officials or officers. So what it sounds like here is they want to keep corruption out of our local government when it's pertaining to the commercialization and retail of medical marijuana. So if an industrial grow is happening down the street and a public official is gaining interest of that and it's putting his kid through college, they want to know about it. You know, the state wants to know about it. Let's see. A description, this is section H now in part 4 licensing of the House Bill number 4209. H, a description of the type of marijuana facility, anticipated or actual number of employees, and projected or actual gross receipts. So they want, that's pretty self-explanatory. Gross receipts, number of employees. Financial information in the manner and form prescribed by the board, a paper copy or electronic posting website reference for the ordinance or zoning restrictions that the municipality adopted to authorize or restrict operation of one or more marijuana facilities in the municipality. So again, you'll have to go to your local government, see what kind of zoning and municipality ordinances that they've passed. You'll have to gather that information, put the documentation in with your license application so that they know that you're legally applying for that license in a legal subsection of that community. Let's see. A copy of the notice informing the municipality by registered mail that the applicant has applied for a license under this act. The applicant shall also verify that it has delivered the notice to the municipality or will do so by 10 days after the date the applicant submits the application for a license to the board. So you send in your application for a license. Within 10 days, you must send in a letter of intent to the municipality in which you are deciding to grow in. That's huge. 10 days. You don't want to mess that up. 30,000 square feet, you built it and you put all that time and effort into it and you didn't read. It's got to be done in 10 days, Any other information the department requires by rule, that literally in there. So what that tells me is that the department can come in and say, hey, we are requiring even more than what we put in the bill. And it says right there, F. Oh, not F. Letter L. Any other information the department requires by rule. And that's kind of a slap in the face, I think. Let's see. Well, we only have about one more minute left.
You can take a couple.
What was that?
You can take a couple since you answered questions.
Oh, okay. Let's see. I know that there is more meat and potatoes to this. Again, we will continue to cover House Bill number 4209 for the next few Tuesday night lives so that we can really get into the meat and potatoes, and I'll keep segmenting it out, so a half hour at a time, because I know it gets boring just to listen and when you could read it, but I know for me, I'll take a paragraph and I'll read it, and it's really overwhelming sometimes, and I'll have to break it up and maybe even get a dictionary and a thesaurus and really sit down and dissect this. So I know for people that maybe work 40, 60 hours a week, they don't want to necessarily be doing this. So we are more than happy to do this for you guys. And, we will continue covering House Bill 4209, the Licensing Facility Act. So I'm going to cut it off at House Bill number 4209, Section 4, letter L. So we'll pick up not this next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after. Put that in there. All right, next we have a segment on a small town in Colorado that kind of reminds me of Ironwood or Bessemer or even Gogebic County as a whole. Trinidad, Colorado is kind of in the southern part. And they weren't sure. They weren't sure if they were going to opt in on medical cannabis. They weren't sure if they were going to opt in on recreational cannabis. But what happened was they were in a time of desperation. Excuse me. So mining had left this town, and they went from 30,000 people to 8,200 people in Trinidad, Colorado. Mining was their main source of, revenue and work. And so when that left, very much like Ironwood and Bessemer, there were just vacant store after vacant store. The mayor at the time was a retired state patrolman officer for Colorado. And he was, just devastated by how his community was, and he wanted to do something more about it. And he never thought in a million years that cannabis could be a solution to their financial problems, or at least a step out of abyss, is what he called it. He called it just an abyss. And what happened was they got $800,000 in revenue when they opted in. In the first year. In the first year, a town of 8,200 people generated $800,000 in revenue. And that's thanks to cannabis money. The mayor feels, he felt more hope. The old Pepsi plant became a marijuana dispensary. People started resurrecting old abandoned buildings, which is happening here. Cultivators are resurrecting, these old buildings. They were almost falling down in Trinidad. The mayor and others hope that cannabis dispensaries, grow facilities, and high-scale commercial chocolate edibles company can be a shot at sustainability. And following up with these guys, it has been. They opened this 30,000 square foot chocolate company, and they had just a really talented chocolatier come in from New York and make these just decadent infused chocolates, and now they're in 23 dispensaries across the state of Colorado. And it started with a vision and a hope and people coming together for a bigger common goal. In November 2014, the first retail cannabis shop opened in Trinidad, Colorado. Then the money started flowing in beyond expectations. So they spent $70,000 and bought a new fire engine, a pumper truck, and some of the money allowed the city to expedite replacing old water pipes. They had 60% of their water pipes in catastrophic failure, or about to be in catastrophic failure, because they were in between 1890 and 1950. And as you know, that sounds very similar here. There was talk at last night's Bessemer council meeting about putting in a new water tower over at Blackjack, and So, that's a lot of money. They would have to buy the land there in order to put a tank up. There's a grant they can apply for, but they have to raise 10%. Bessemer has to raise 10% to get this grant enacted to replace that water tower and buy that property up at Blackjack so that they can, run water down to the town. And if not, they're going to have to replace the piping, I believe, on Tilden. I believe it's Tilden Street. So one of the things that us as cannabis cultivators in the community can do is maybe throw some fundraising events to raise that 10%. Getting more active and involved can make Bessemer and Ironwood a Trinidad, Colorado. We have the ability, we have the buildings, we have the resources, and we really need to stand up and start communicating with each other so that we can, open up. I mean, this Coda signatures, if you want to check them out, it's CODA signatures. Their chocolate factory employs many people now. It has, at the beginning, it had 13, and it employed 30 more people the year it opened. And then they added a THC oil extraction component to the business, and there's no reason why us as a community couldn't open something like that. It's wonderful to maybe, go in and be able to find the medication that you need, because you have, a processing facility right here in your hometown that can give you the exact medication that you need. I don't want... I don't necessarily want a cookie, maybe I want a week's supply of, Rick Simpson oil, in capsules maybe, because it tastes gross, it's available out there, we just need to reel it in and come together as a community. These guys did, $800,000 the first year in revenue. The Michigan allows other states' medical marijuana cards. We allow that. We can take in medical marijuana refugees. People can come here and get serviced at our dispensaries because they kept that law intact. You have states around here that are just opting in for medical marijuana, and we know from personal experience around here that they might not have access. So, all right, it's like I'm getting into our other segment. So I'm going to let Trinidad, Colorado go. Check it out. CNN did a report. You can Google it, Trinidad, Colorado, and medical cannabis. It should pop right up. By the way, any references that you guys want, all of my research is cited. If you're interested in those links, don't hesitate to ask. All right, 5 minutes alternative medication. So I didn't really have any research today pertaining to alternative medication. It was kind of just an open discussion. I had talked to some community members about a medication trend that I had noticed across Gogebic County. And a couple of the medical marijuana patients that we cultivate for, it's called Neurontin or gabapentin. And it's explained to me it's kind of like a nerve sedative. It has a barbiturate effect, and it's in the same kind of drug category as Lyrica. So a lot of people are taking this medication and trying to come off of it, and before we go any further, I just want to say that we do not condone anybody to stop taking their medication. We also don't condone stop taking medication without a doctor guiding you or helping you with that. It can be very, very dangerous and detrimental to people's health if they quit taking their prescribed medication without getting professional help for it. So again, we don't condone stopping medication. But there are people that are doing it on their own accord and with the guidance of a doctor. And the feedback that I'm getting is that the overall trend here is it's being abused. You know, these pharmaceutical drugs are being abused to get this high, and people are suffering from it. And so I kind of started thinking about alternative medication, and I was going to go into, you know, a little bit of the history, but really what I want people to maybe start thinking about is what are you putting in your body? You know, do you know enough about what into your body? Is what you're putting into your body plant? Is that makes how long have the trials been going on for those specific medications that you're on? You have every right to know these, you know, the answers to these questions. And when I think about 1,000 years ago, how we would treat disease and ailments, I think about all the plants out there that we used, and how those plants have become medications, and how many medications are really plant derived. And you know, there's ginseng in North America. There's immense antioxidants in chaga mushrooms found in our backyards. There's a co-op right downtown, Ironwood, that sells really good herbs for the gut, and chamomile flower and hibiscus flower and root extracts and root powders that you can take. And there's research galore. Maryland University, maryland.edu, has an amazing research library on natural medicine, and I suggest that you guys all check it out. I had a patient, again, not a doctor, medical cannabis patient. She was on a bunch of different medications and decided between her and her doctor that she was going to start coming off of that cannabis. And her doctor actually had suggested that she contact somebody within her community to help her with the medical cannabis licensing, you know, as a patient. She wanted to get her patient card. So she had contacted me, and we went through, well, she disclosed to me the medications that she was taking. And I asked her, I said, do you know any woman that has taken this exact combination of medications and the research there, you know? I mean, if we think about it, let's say, you know, I'm on 5 different medications. Are there any studies on a female that's 29 with my history that, you know, of all those medications? And I bet there's not. I bet there is not case studies, even preliminary case studies, that show somebody taking 5 medications at one time and the outcome of that over 20 years. I mean, when I really clicked in my head and I thought about all these taking 8, 10, 12 medications, it like hit me hard, you know? I was like, I mean, there's no research on that, you know, what that's going to do to a person over a long period of time. But amazingly, what there is research on is all the stuff we can find, you know, in the woods, in the forests, in the Amazon, next to the rivers, across this world. There's been pharmacopoeias written for centuries on natural medicine. You know, and I'm 29 and I'm a novice to natural medicine, but within the last couple of years, I've already found solutions to ibuprofen for myself. You know, I get menstrual cramps or a slight backache, and there's a natural extract in my kitchen that I use for that. My chickens, you know, if they get you know, fungus on their feet, or, you know, an infection or something, I can treat it with oregano oil. There's another patient of mine that has a severe wound from pressure, and the only thing that really works for him is oregano pills, because you can become completely tolerant to a wider range of antibiotics once you take them for a long period of time. It also changes our gut flora, and there's so many things going on in the body, and so many things that it's already trying to do, and if we feed our systems correctly, we can have our body fight for us instead of taking a pill to fight. And I think that's what our society is getting more and more out of. We're stepping back and we're seeing the bigger picture of being over medicated, and realizing more and more that there's a natural cure for that. And I'm excited to say that cannabis has an extensive amount of research backing the medical benefits. All right, I think we've covered the 45 minutes. I think we probably went over a little bit, but I'm going to open it up for discussion or any questions that you guys might have any answers. Feel free, whether it be about the grow license, about alternative medication, or the fiscal impact on our community. I'm going to open it up here. How many people are still watching?
I can't tell.
Yeah. No more comments are popping up though?
There's a few. Did you see?
Mm-mm.
No questions.
Okay. All right.
Oh, more info on getting involved.
Huh?
More info on getting involved.
That's a question? Okay, thanks.
More discussion
Oh, okay. Let's see. Dale Webb wants more information on getting involved. What exactly? Getting involved in Gogebic 3C, or just getting involved in the community or council? What specifically are you looking to get involved in? And while you're answering that, I'll go ahead and answer Willie's comment. He asked, can you give a little more discussion on the tax requirements? And they're pretty much going to want to know all the tax history of your entity, or if you alone are applying for the license, they're going to want to know all of your tax information, or any tax information that has been linked to any business or entity you have had investments or ownership in the past. So any tax information they're going to want to know about, and specifically what I read is they want to know if there's been any tax issues. They want to know if you've had any persecution involving taxes in any form. So that's kind of what they're asking. All right. I guess, Dale, I'll just go ahead and just answer generally. If you want to get involved in Gogebic 3C, which is Gogebic County Cultivation Creations LLP, you can contact me at 907-319-9030, and my number is listed on there.
Just answered.
Oh, he just answered? Oh, okay. All right. He asked, helping to get a core group of people together to help educate the community for support. I love it. I love it. You can contact me on this site or message me. And honestly, people that want to get involved, they don't even necessarily have to say anything at these meetings. If we got 10 people to sit and support whoever was speaking, that would be phenomenal. I mean, 10 people to show up to a council meeting for one thing is kind of a huge deal. So definitely contact me, Dale. I have lots of volunteer and lots of opportunity. Right now I'm undergoing lots of research. The Planning Commission of both Ironwood and Bessemer are looking for cited research, statistics, numbers. They want to know about they want to know about both the social and fiscal impact that this is going to have on our communities. And we know that there are tons of resources out there that show us examples, because we are not the only people that have been doing this. You know, we can look at Colorado, we can look at Washington, we can look at Alaska, we can look across the board and gain information. California, you know, all across the nation. All right. Any more questions, you guys? Any more? You can contact us anytime that you need to. If you need to navigate legal services, we got you. If you need to navigate the community resources, we got you. We do repair, we do consignment of cultivation equipment. We help members gain access and knowledge about cultivation in itself, permaculture, horticulture, all of that stuff. So, excuse me, don't be afraid to contact us for anything really concerning cultivation needs. We really want to work with all kinds in this community when it comes to cultivation. So. Oh, thank you. Thanks, guys. I'm really excited to be doing this, and hopefully next week, like, maybe we'll have somebody else here and they can, you know, answer questions, and, you know, I'm accepting anybody come on and get involved. And, okay, he's writing something. Hold on. 2 weeks. Yes, 2 weeks from now. Not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after. So, you know, we have plenty of time to get together a better program and get somebody in here. And we're even thinking about doing like a drawing. We really haven't, you know, come up with any, you know, solid plans for that yet. But we're looking into doing like a raffle or a drawing. And like I said, there's a lot of opportunity here to show a positive face within the cannabis community. And now is the time to do it, because, you know, they're going to be opting in or not. So thanks again, guys, and have a great night.